Hello, welcome to the Jitsi case study. We are going to see first the process and then the prototype. For those that do not know what is Jitsi, it's a free open source video conferencing platform. It's really well known between the tech-savvy users, but maybe not for the rest of the people. It has a lot of features already integrated, and it could be installed in private servers, making it more really secure for business and some institutions that already are using it. First of all, we did a secondary research, and we found that in those surveys that were done previously, some data were really consistent. For example, that 80% of the user use this application on computer, especially for business and formal meetings. Only 20% use the devices as the mobile for more informal meetings. I want to say that this survey were made before the pandemic, and this project was made during the pandemic, at the beginning, really early in the beginning of the pandemic. And also that 26% of the users know Jitsi, and the preferred tools that they use, all the users, were sharing the screen, using the chat, and changing the views. So we did primary research with 6 interviews and a survey of 74 participants, and also looking for some other comments or issues in the Jitsi community forum. And we listed them and detected that 40% of all these issues that we have listed were related with the interface, the design of the interface. The other 28% were related with the hardware and the devices, and the rest 12% was related with security, and 10% were related with the time. So we compare with the benchmark the most used platforms by the users, and we recognize that they all follow a pattern to place the tools, but that Jitsi have much more features available for the user that in the primary research they requested, and Jitsi had them already solved, but they don't know about Jitsi. We did a user journey, also detected the pain points of the user in each of the instances. We did a product market fit, a canvas, and other conceptualizations, and listed all the issues and created some goals that we want to achieve in this process. And for example, to make Jitsi accessible for elderly, overall for those that never have used any kind of application for doing video calling, and avoid the confusion of the movements, and create a really simple, intuitive, and appealing interface. We create an hypothesis that says that by creating a simple, intuitive, and user-friendly interface, Jitsi will be more accessible for those non-technical users, making all these features accessible for the rest of the user in a time that all these features were needed. So we established 5 design principles that will help us as guidelines across the process, and set a basic layout to place all the features, and depending on the view, this layout should be respected. Then we create an ideation of how it's could be in really quickly, and then we proceed to work on the aesthetic. We base on tangible components, and in this concept of tube TV that were really popular in the 70s, 60s, 80s, around 5 decades, we use these kind of devices with tangible buttons. And we also work on the typographies to make it not so touchy and more user-friendly. Also, we work in the colors, the forms, the buttons, where to place the rest of the 90% of the features that the people requested, and they were already available. For example, to do a streaming on YouTube, connecting Jitsi with YouTube, or making an iframe to embed the meeting, and making surveys, download this information or statistics or the recordings, etc. Managing the video quality. And we place all these features into a basic mockup, a lo-fi mockup, and work on the movement of how this information will be presented to the user. And we didn't present all the features at the same time because it could be really overwhelming, so we create like layers of information and how the user access to them. So this is the first screen that the user see when access to a room, with the panels expanded, changing the view, for example, a full screen view, and we did some accessibility tests about the colors. And before proceeding, this is the prototype. Jitsi, something really good that it has is that you don't need to log in. You just enter, write your name, and access to the room. We create also a code that of 3 words that the user can write in the URL just to enter to the room, to make it simple. And when the user see this first screen, the user can, for example, open the chat. Also could see, for example, the participants. Also can, for example, change the view. Here can see which participant have the camera activated and select another ones, but only can select 4. Also can expand the screen, the full screen. Can, for example, see the option of blur background or manage quality video, or select which camera want to use. Also could select for example, the input or the output of the microphone, etc. Has a lot of features and options. For example, live stream or start recording, embedding an iframe, etc. And yes, we have some result. We asked the participant to perform all these tasks, and the results were really impressive because the user says in their comments several times that it was really simple to use, and it was like really new, nothing compared with what I have saw previously. And something really important to highlight is that 100% all the users performance the task of sharing the screen, activate the microphone and camera correctly without any issue. 80% of the user describe it as simple and easy to use. 60% say that had difficult to hide panels, and 80% that, and this is not good, say that didn't understand very well, which means the indicator of the quality of the connection of the participants. So we create some recommendations to take into consideration for the iteration in each of these fields. And something that was really good is that we achieved the main objective of the project, that was to create a user-friendly interface for elderly. And something really important is that the user could access to the tools, don't feeling afraid to break something. That they have said previously in the research that they didn't press anything because they feel that they could break something. And in this case, the interface that do not feel that experience, and they were able to access to these tools. And also they avoid these cognitive barriers because it was really intuitive. Something that was not so good, but can be improved, is that the aesthetic sometimes could be some details could be avoided to make it feel even more simple. And that's great, because the simpler we could do it, for example, working on the indicators, on the share screen, etc., we could make that it could feel even more friendly, more easy to use. So this was a first step, and it was really great. I hope you like this case study, and thank you very much.